gentlemen, boys and girls, souls of all creation, I am your host, VALTORIOUS the Awoken, and tonight's midnight review is going to be JoJo's Bizarre Golden Win. So, I've been hitting y'all out with this JoJo stuff for a while now, and we're going to kind of continue it on with the review of the show. So, going off with this wonderful, gorgeous masterpiece. Well, should I call it a masterpiece, or should I just call it as another fling? Because watching JoJo's Bizarre, the entire series was great. Like, personally, like, my favorite ones was part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, I can't even say like none of it's bad, because when you watch it, it's like a different story. I guess you can kind of say like you're defeating like the villain or the bad guy, but it's different, you know. Well, kind of the same in some scenarios, but some of it's different. But Golden Wind has a very unique take to it, because you have Giorno Giovanna, who's basically the son of Dio. So when I've watched this, I was like, okay, is he gonna be like Dio? Will we see something crazy from him? And we didn't. Well, maybe like one or two things we've seen, but I thought that we was gonna be like, oh, he's gonna take over the world, he's gonna do something crazy. But no, he didn't even do that. Like, his story was kind of like sad, because it was like, okay, his mother, Dio, just found this girl, he did his business, but it wasn't really explained how. Like, cause he's a vampire, so it's like, how did he even get a girl pregnant? And wouldn't it mean like he would have fathered like maybe thousands, maybe hundreds of kids and stuff? But that wasn't really explained. So, you know, I guess she was like a showgirl, then she got married, and she was not home all the time. So basically, Giorno grew up alone, you know. Then he had an abusive stepfather, but then he learned how he was acting and stuff. And then it was like he was, I guess you can kind of say, a gang member kind of like saved him, you know. And it was like being nice to him, and he showed him kindness and stuff, because, you know, he was bullied a lot when he was a kid. So his origin story was kind of sad, you know. It was kind of sad. But then later on, that's when, you know, he was in school, and then that's when Jotaro sent what was this, Koji? Yeah, Kyoji with that, you know, he sent him out and shit, and he was like, oh, you know, the son of Dio and stuff. And then he told him over the phone, he was like, oh, you know, I killed his father, you know, because he was tormenting our family for centuries and shit. I was like, fucking yes. But overall, like, they had like a little small part to play, because they wasn't really in the show as much. Like, it was like, what, season, what was it, episode 1 to 2, 3-ish? That was it, you know. That was it. And that's when it was just all Giorno. And that's when in order for him to like get into the organization, he had to prove a test, like to keep like a fire lit and never for it to go out, because if it does go out, that's when I guess this Reaper stand will come after him and kill him and shit. So it was cool, because he was going to the prison, and he was talking to I think it was Dopo. Yeah, he was talking to him. Oh no, Popo, Dopo, whatever his damn name is, because I can't remember. It's fucking 4 o'clock, and the motherfucker died anyway. But, you know, after when he assaulted Giorno, and he was basically telling him like, oh, you know, people like you, I could use you and this and that and stuff. And that's when he was like, oh yeah. And that's when Giorno was walking out, and then you see him putting a banana in his mouth, but it wasn't really a banana, it was actually the gun that Giorno switched out and stuff. And that's when he killed himself. And then that's when all of his funds and monies, it didn't get transferred over to Bucciarati, because they basically had to go out. And I think they was like, because everybody was finding, well, was trying to find like his stash, because apparently like this dude had like a lot of money. I think it was in the billions and stuff. But before that happened, you know, Bucciarati and Giorno, like, they fought for a little bit, and then that's when Giorno told his story on what he wanted to clean up the city, because it was like basically a lot of drugs killed a lot of people, and this isn't good and shit. So he was going off with his beliefs, and he said, you know what, yeah, I want to kind of change the city too. So they cocked up the plan together, and then he said, oh, I'm gonna make you capo and this and that and stuff. So that's what he did. Then he introduced him to the gang, And it was kind of funny because you had Abakio fucking pissing in the damn tea and shit. He's like, oh yeah, hey, your name's Giorno, right? Yeah, come drink this tea. I was like, that shit was fucked up though. But then Giorno knew. He was like, well, the fuck, like, is this some sort of gang initiation type shit? So after for a while, you know, the gang went on their first mission, and I believe it was the first mission was to get this dude's money and stuff. And then that's when the boss kind of like gave them another mission. It's like, oh, I need you to find my daughter. But then while doing so, everybody was trying to find out who the boss was to kill him, but they had to go up against Bucciarati and his team and stuff, because it was like, well, you know, we're trying to find the boss's daughter too. So it was cool. Like, it was basically like a giant sized race to find the boss's daughter. And then Bucciarati and Giorno, Fugo, you know, Mr. all of them, they had to like go up against like various amounts of people and stuff. So this kind of reminded me of Stardust Crusader a little bit, of when you had Jotaro and the team going up against like random assassins that Dio sent out. Because you know, from Stardust Crusader, like, Jotaro was trying to save his mom and stuff, but he had to go all the way over to Egypt, just to find and kill Dio, so that way she can be healed and fixed again. So, but in this case, it was more like to try to get the boss's daughter and deliver the boss's daughter to him and stuff. But it was like a lot of wackiness and craziness there. And then once when they've managed to get to the location to bring the boss's daughter there, and Bucciarati and her, like, he had her in the elevator, and he was like, wait a minute, what the fuck, what happened to her hand? And then you noticed he was like, whoa, I went with everything, I did everything that the boss said, I've done a lot of things that I wasn't proud of. He said, this I refuse. So it was cool because he went up against the boss fucked him up because he was skipping time and doing all this crazy shit. Then Giorno comes along and he saves him, but the thing is, it was already too late, because I guess Bucciarati was kind of dead. He was just living on borrowed time, I guess you could say, because he was saving him. And then the separation of the gang was where Fugo, he was like, well, you know, you doing all of this because of one girl. Like, what are you doing? He said, nah, I just can't. Like, the boss has gone way too far. He tried to kill his own daughter just because she known who he was and his identity, because he was kind of like paranoid because of people finding out who he was, and if anybody who've gotten close to him, he would have had them killed or sent people to probably kill him and stuff. So it was, you know, that was like a whole bunch of craziness. And then his origin story, it was kind of weird, because it was like he what was it? I think he did something to his mother. He didn't tie her, but he had her underneath the ground and stuff, mummified her mouth, I believe. You know, that whole shit was kind of crazy and stuff. And I was like, something about him having like two different personalities and stuff. And then once when the Crimson Emperor, when he had gained that stand, it just kind of like taken over and stuff. And I like this. Like, it was cool because he had like one half that was telling him to do the other thing when it was like time to like switch out and stuff. And it was like, oh, you had the boss, and then you had this other like kid personality, you know, ish, you know, kind of confused and always taking orders. Like, it was weird. It was really weird, like almost like some sort of Hannibal Lecter ish, you know. And I was like, okay, I can get behind this. So, you know, eventually they went to go try to find the boss's location. Poor Abakio, he died. You know, it was crazy too, because there was this dude who had something to do with well, he was like an assassin that had metals. Well, he was able to manipulate metal and stuff, and he almost killed the boss. But once when he had the power to like predict the future and see things, and that's when Diavolo basically killed them. Diavolo just fucking murdered his shit, and then after for a while, he was like, oh, Abakio, he's trying to find shit on me too. Next thing you know, he killed him, right? And then that's when they went and they went to another spot. I think it was somewhere in the cathedral area, you know. And they later on they met Polinariev, You know, I think I know I bossed the hell out of that name, but you know, they basically they met up against him, and then that's when he had like the arrow, because he was explaining that with this arrow is the only way to basically to defeat Diavolo. That's the only way to beat him and stuff. So that was like a whole complete mess, because Diavolo was like, listen, Bucciarati and his team, they betrayed me, so all hands on deck, kill him. So once again, you had like mad assassins, mad people trying to go after them. They've all died and failed and stuff until, you know, they got the arrow, right? Then Diavolo killed Naracha. Yeah, he killed him because they had like they body switched, because apparently like Polinareff Stan, well he had like, well he's awakened a second power to his stand, and then that's when it caused like a massive, everybody's souls was being switched and stuff, and that was like a whole complete mess right there. And then once when everybody got their souls back, Bucciarati's soul went back to his body, but you already know he was already dying and stuff. The other personality of Diavolo died, and there was only just the one. So once when towards the end, and that's when you had like Giorno going up against him, and he did get the arrow and he used it, and that's when he gained like the power to just completely destroy Diavolo and stuff, having him in purgatory, like I said in my other video, what he did to him and shit. And I was like, yo, that was cool. So he was alive, but he would be in that state where he would die in different scenarios. Like the guy stabbed him, like the homeless guy stabbed him, and the next thing you know, he was on the hospital table getting operated and opened up on. Then he fell into the street and got hit by a car and stuff. So that was crazy. That is like some Inzunami, some Naruto shit, like the Inzunami, where you're gonna be there for all of eternity unless you figure out the problem and you forgive your sins and shit. So that was crazy. That was pretty crazy and shit. That's why I was like, yo, Golden Wind, it was good. It was really good and shit. That's why I said I thought that because Giorno was the son of Dio, he was gonna do something crazy. Even though at the end you saw Mr. like just standing there, and then you had like Giorno sitting in a chair where he was wearing black, and then you had people like kissing his ring and shit. So I was like, okay, we see a little Dio in you. You know, having people kiss your ring and bow down to you and shit. But I was like, okay. But, you know, like I said, I thought there was going to be more. Like, he was going to do, like, some, like, personally, you know what I thought? I thought he was going to kill the entire team. That's what I thought he was going to do. Because, personally, I knew maybe one or two people was going to die. But I didn't really expect, like, that to happen. Like, I thought maybe all of them would have lived, right? And then Giorno would have had his grandmaster plan, and he would have did some Dio type shit, like, yeah, you know, y'all was my comrades, you know, y'all always working, you know, everything was good, but y'all gotta die, right? I thought he would have did that, and then maybe Trish probably would have been alive, and you know, he probably like, oh, you know, Trish, you gonna be mine, you know, they dead or some shit. Like, I thought he probably would have did some shit like that, but he didn't do it. Like, he was like cool peoples and stuff. He stayed with them towards the end, right? And yeah, that's how it went. And I was like, okay, you know, Golden Wind was pretty good and stuff. So if I would have had to rate it, that shit would have had like 10 stars, because it was good. It's really good and stuff. Son of Dio gets an overpowered stand, you know, just murdering people and stuff, doing all types of craziness. And then Diavolo with this whole skipping time or erasing time and then moving through it and shit. Then the personalities that he had, tying people up and killing people who gets close to him because he gets paranoid. Like the part where the maid was doing like housekeeping, and then he immediately he left, like skip time, boom, just left. And I was like, wait, what? Like, he was so paranoid and stuff. I was like, my boy, even though I understand, because since he kind of like he started the organization, and he was like because they called him the boss because he is the organization, and then he was promoting people who did well. They never met him and stuff. They just had like orders either on the phone or through a text or through email or whatever and stuff. So I was like, yo, it was good. It was pretty good. So I encourage anybody to check out Golden Wind, right? Because it's good. Can't wait for part 6 to come out. 6, 7, and 8. Can't wait. It's pretty good. But yeah, if you like what you heard you like, please subscribe, share, do all that wonderful stuff, and I'll catch you later.